She went all through the screen.
It's just weird. Okay, so yesterday, guy in the neighborhood wants, it's like a tree on the car. He sure that the sun she's up, other sun she's up, why she's all they live on the same street. Okay, so that's fine. Then it's fine, it's shady, that's what it's about. And all of a sudden I'm standing there with the car around, and I get a phone call saying, hi, it's kids. I know that you want some of this. And I was wondering if like, actually, if I could work an hour to an hour and see it. I go, wow, sure, I'm gonna be here, but why did you know? Because all I've done is exclusive rights to sound. She's like, oh, it's top secret. She's like, it's this back organizing street. I call CMA and I go, how is somebody looking to know that I have a listing contract? And they're like, oh, it's not.
Are you looking?
I don't really.
Oh. It's not. Other people see what's in.
Kids on shop, something like it's cash.
Here we go.
I can't. The guy said, oh, it's not. Like, how can he? My. That's so what it speaks to credibility. Like if she's gonna lie about that, here's what actually happened. My guy that I was showing it to. Friend with this guy, and he wanted his house,
Okay.
his garage,
Yeah.
and so that's how he knew about it. He had called his agent to see it. I'm like, you guys can look in my seat.
Well, and I would tell the agent, I'm sorry, but we're only showing to neighbors.
Yeah.
Pretty ballistic.
Yeah, they already showed up. He came with the agent.
That's it.
Yeah.
Instead of text.
Oh, you said it.
Do you get text on your phone? If not, I'll send my email. Okay, I'll send my email.
Yeah. We're all mad here.
I know.
Don't worry, I just logged in.
Okay.
And in conclusion,
Yeah. Oh, well. Let's see, I got prizes. It's now, it's bigger passions than it was.
okay, as I get logged in here, guys, if you have not ever logged into RPR, you need your NERDS number so we can get you an account set up.
And there is a quick connect through the MLS. Yeah. That are going to the MLS.
Okay.
Does it single sign on you?
Yeah, yeah, and you're paying for it through the MLS.
So your password is your verbal?
Bingo.
No, you would need your NERDS number in order
I've
to,
already done it before, I just can't remember, like it's.
oh,
PPAR, that's the easiest way.
yeah, if you guys can get into PPAR, I would do that.
It's the easiest way.
Yep.
Well,
Every
it
once in
hasn't
a while,
happened, I've
when I
used it.
try to go into RPR direct, every once in a while it has this error, but I can get it through PPAR.
Yeah, my, so RE Colorado does have it, but it doesn't seem to be very, reliable.
Well, I have the app and it's in my email, and password, place their password, but I can't remember. Yeah, I had it written down somewhere. It's-
Okay, and then I'll share. Multiple people can share, so you should be good once you get there.
Okay, I'm there.
Yeah, somewhere. Did I share this out to me personally or not?
Doesn't matter, it's all the same.
Here, can you see my screen?
I can. Yay.
All right. So. Let's, quick level set for me, so I know how to direct this. We'll tailor it. Who's geographic farming? Anybody farming? Couple?
I'm gonna start.
Jay's gonna start.
Yeah.
Jay, this is gonna be your best friend.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that helps to know that. Anybody working NEDs? Expireds?
Yeah, I'm gonna start.
Okay.
What did you say the first one was?
NEDs?
NEDs.
Notice of defaults?
Oh, yeah, I work people closures.
Okay.
But I'm very specific what I work. I use spot for mine.
Okay. We'll help you figure out how to find all those people. Anybody work, equity deals? Properties with large equity?
Yeah.
Okay,
I look for large equity, older, I mean, I sort through right of ways, older, held the property a while.
okay. All right, we'll hit all of those so that you can see how this tool can, put it all together. What have I told you guys? I could increase the size of your database by 500 people by the end of this class.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
Yeah.
okay. All right. So everybody get logged into RPR. We're gonna kind of, ideally, you guys are gonna follow along with me as we go through this. So RPR, here's the disclaimer that as a certified RPR trainer, I can give you, RPR is a wholly owned subsidiary of the National Association of Realtors. It is included with your NAR dues. And as such, everything I'm gonna show to you today, in RPR is all free. So my second favorite four-letter acronym,
Free meaning you've already paid for it somewhere.
somewhere else. Okay, well, secret sauce, here you go.
Well, you know, that is what got us all in trouble with this NAR lawsuit, is
This-
saying it's free. Open disclosure.
Oh, it is, yes. There's a form for that too, just so you know.
Or there will be.
Or there will be.
I'm not gonna follow you because I'm afraid it's gonna script the Zoom.
Okay.
We're recording. I have to.
All right, so if we take a look in RPR, the first thing that's gonna come up, if you've identified any of your My Markets, and we'll show you how to set that up here in just a second, any of My Markets, it's gonna come up automatically. So obviously being in Highlands Ranch pops up right away for me, and it shows me, right, everything that's for sale, new for sale, 52 properties within the last 3 days. I'll show you how to set that up too here in just a second. But this is my snapshot. When I first log into RPR, I can see in an instant what's happened in my neighborhoods. So let's start off by going into your profile. And let's make sure that you have everything set up. As you get into your profile, you're gonna want to make sure you do have your photo put into here and your logo. Because as we get down the road into some of these features, you're gonna see that there are your reports and the stuff that you can send to your people. Will be personally branded to you so long as it's in your profile. Right, your contact information as you want it to show up, office name, all that kind of fun stuff, right?
I got a window that opens, this says personalize your experience. It's not checked, I don't know if I should.
Ignore for right now.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, get all that filled in.
So mine has like a little address name here, if I just take this out, but yeah, we'll start here now. So it's-
Yep. Yeah, very good. Yep. Further down the page, you will see where it has your MLS info. The nice thing about RPR is it does not limit you just to your MLS. You can look at almost any MLS across the country. So if you want to look up in Kalamazoo, Michigan. By all means, look in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Bonus points for anybody who's in song. So as I go through here, I can do research on any MLS, almost any MLS. Not specific. You will want to make sure that you have your license number in down here below. Because again, this is the information that's going to show up on your reports, and I'll show you the reports here in a bit. Gives you credibility when you start to send this stuff out, right?
Where is that? Where?
I'm still in the profile.
Here's.
Top right one. Picture.
Okay, any questions you guys getting this?
So-
There?
If you go down
Yep,
here,
sure.
to where you have the MLS thing.
Yes.
So right here, where you do not have anything there, does it matter?
Here's my, this is so you can add another one.
And,
Yeah, here's my primary one.
I don't.
And I'm also a member of, RE Colorado, so the Denver MLS. I was gonna do PPAR, but it was such a pain.
It is okay. We don't love it.
Oh,
Yeah.
You are.
I need to set up a forward for that.
I have a movie too, though, so I'm like those ways. I was just, I'm having.
Okay, in the future, if you want to add an assistant user, you can. Your assistant user can go in and do all the same searches and all the reports and all that kind of stuff. So if you're, if you're as swanky as Carrie is and have the VA and all that kind of fun stuff, and then you're on ISA, you can set this up if you want to. Right, and then they'll have their own login to it.
My assistants didn't know it.
I wasn't gonna tell.
They know. He's the pool boy, he's the yard boy. Yeah, we have all kinds of names for it.
That's right, yeah.
He's on Zoom, right?
Oh,
All right, once you get all that set up, right next to the link for profile, there's settings. Now, this is gonna be your preferences within RPR. Okay, so you got set new listings to. So you remember when I first logged in, I saw all the properties in Highlands Ranch. Well, it's only showing me new listings in the last 30 days, and this little slider here will let you change that. Saying that recently closed. RPR will do residential and commercial. Okay,
Where's Rod when you need him?
what's that?
I said, where's Rod when you need him, our commercial guy?
Oh, you lose that?
Yeah.
I don't play in commercial a whole lot, so, and when I do, I get into LoopNet, so
I don't recommend it.
I don't either. The other thing you're gonna want to set up is you see in the right-hand column here, it says My Markets. So on that front page, when I first logged in, these are the markets that show up for me. So Highlands Ranch, Denver, Centennial, Lone Tree, Lakewood, Springs, Aurora, Littleton. You can put as many or as few as you want in here. I do recommend, obviously, if you're geographic farming, that your geographic farms are in here. The cool thing about RPR is RPR recognizes neighborhoods, zip codes, cities, suburbs. So if you have, like, I live in Northridge, neighborhood up in Highlands Ranch, I can type in Northridge, and I'll show you that here in a little bit, and it will recognize that. So set up your My Markets. We're gonna keep going here. All right, so the easiest place and a lot of things that you're gonna be doing with Relay, with regard to, RPR, are your searches and your property information. So let's just start off by taking a look at the information that's available within the property record. So I'm just gonna choose this property just because it's at the top of the screen, right? So automatically, we see this is an active listing. This is pulling this out of your MLS. Right, so if I wanted to, let's just say we're gonna pull something out of Springs, because I am not a PPAR member. Too many results. We'll do that later. Anyway, I could pull it if I didn't pull too many results. So let's go back here, and property again. Right, so here's all the information. The quick glance at it. Let's go in and take a look at the full details. Okay, in the full details, obviously we can see everything that is associated or everything that's in the property record itself. This updates from the MLS, I believe, once a day. So if you make a change in the MLS, it's not going to show up in RPR until it's right. But obviously, you know, I already automatically know your basic facts about the property. Now, RPR has its own algorithm for doing automatic valuations. So it has its own AVM. What RPR has that you'll love here in a second is it's what they're calling the RVM. Okay, the Realtor Value Model. I think it stands for it. All right. But this is where you can go in and you can make modifications to this so that it shows up down below. And it gets really handy when you're going through and you're doing, like you're gonna go do a seller consultation. You can come in here and you can modify this, I'll show it to you in a second. And it will show an RVM for you that is specific to the house, because right, AVMs are all based upon public information. It puts a finger in the air and tries to figure out what it is, right?
Have you ever compared that or how that review compares to say, estimate?
It's all over the board.
They're all.
It's all over the board. The problem is you don't know what algorithm it's using. Zillow seems to be very liberal with its comps, in comparison to, RPR and some of the other ones. But as we go down here, right, obviously you can see here, this price, CMAs, we'll talk about CMAs in a second, refined value. Refined value, your information from the MLS, map. Now, here's what's cool. Let's talk about your property facts. So, RPR gives you, first of all, single family, property type information from public record, compares it right next to a column with what's in the listing. And then, especially if you're like doing a seller consultation or you're taking a buyer out, maybe to look at a property for the second time and want to do a more in-depth analysis on it, you can come in here and we all know how everybody likes to call a corner in the basement a bedroom. And we all know that's not a bedroom, right? So you can go in here and you can modify this information and let's say instead of it being 4 bedrooms, it's really 5 bedrooms, right? And what we go through, we can modify this information and we can save it, and then in your RPR, it will save this and you can do your analysis and you can do the CMAs with your information. Okay. Quick disclaimer, RPR is available to you. There is no consumer side of this. So you can't send a link to your clients and say, hey, log into RPR. That's not possible.
You can send it as a PDF.
You'll send things as a PDF. Yep. So you can make all these modifications in here and you can see everything that's in that.
I have a quick question for you.
Yes.
And I'm sorry you mentioned this, and I didn't capture it, but this portion where you're at right now is for if I'm trying to get information to a client about a particular home that's not in MLS, and I'm like finagling info here.
Either,
Okay,
right? So what I'm looking at right now is an active listing. That's why I had that middle column up here that showed me. Right, the listing facts,
yeah,
right? If I were to go into a property, and I'll show you in here in a second, we start talking about CMAs, it would not have this column. And then it's any property. I mean, if you're geographic farming, you can go in here, you can take any property in your farm. And pull up all the information on it. Public record, you can go in here and obviously, you know, if they put in an addition on at some point in time and it's not in county records. You can go in here and you can modify it, and then when you create your reports and send out PDFs, it shows up in your report.
gotcha, okay, perfect. So this is here for me to give to my clients. It doesn't reflect
For you to-
MLS, this is just for me and my clients.
Well, this is MLS, sure, this is MLS data.
But my data that I enter doesn't correct talk to MLS, correct it to you and
Just-
anything for.
Yeah, try to see.
It's like the public facts, that's pulling from county records.
That's pulling from county
You
records.
don't really have to go to, sometimes assessors.
But they're not always right. I mean, like my house is never right.
Yeah.
I've got a listing I pulled up this morning to refresh my Zillow and my Realtor.com, estimates, because she watches that, so I'm having a meeting with my seller that's taken a couple months to ready the house, and they've gone up, so she wants to relook comps, which of course I would do anyways. But anyways, my point being is, my point.
Oh, that's a public.
Hers is wrong, hers shows it's a 2-bedroom.
Yeah.
And yet I know the basement's permanent, my basement's permanent, I can see the permanent, so
Right.
don't assume that it's pulling from the county correct, because I see many instances where it is not, and yet the permits are there.
Okay. Cool stuff as we keep going down. Right, legal description. So when you're writing your listings for PPAR, this is a one-stop shop to get all this information.
Yeah.
Right, legal description,
So why would you use that instead of pulling? from-
Schools,
Oh, okay.
because they don't give you the
Got it.
schools,
Okay,
that's
that's
awesome.
Sorry.
oh.
Well, yeah, you could pull it there, I mean, the others too, but here it's all in one spot, because
Yeah,
I like have to go back to the old other MLSs in the neighborhoods
Yeah.
sometimes to pull up the schools.
and we'll see here in a second if you have, so say you got a buyer who wants to go out and take a look at houses in a specific school district. You can search by school. Show you everything in here, it's in there. You got owner facts, listing history, use your public record information. Charts. Graphs. For us analytical types, this is like. Love, on page, right? Obviously, so that's the property information. If we continue, want to dive down more into this. Let's go down into taking a look at the market trends for this particular property. So we know it's a seller's market. We automatically know that there's 2.66 months of inventory in that particular neighborhood. Right, list is sold, days in RPR.
There you go.
Sales price.
I know, but mine is, so I don't have that neighborhood is.
Yeah, but you can do a geographic, you could pull this up as a geographic search and tell you, put it, same thing in your comp.
Can you go in and find a listing that was in RA Colorado that's not showing up in the MLS, but it showed you the list price and the sale price?
Yeah. So, and then obviously we can dive down in here. This is the stuff you use to inform yourself, know about your neighborhoods, know about your information. Now, one thing I will warn you is you look at this property type, single family and condo townhome. So if you want to have just townhome information, just single family, you can do all of that. Right, and it's automatically now in my neighborhood, market trends for those in Colorado, 126. Now my median price reflects just single family, shows you where that property is. That's my neighborhood, you should have listed with me, but I didn't, so. Sold listings, sold public records, charts, graphs to your heart's content. So if you have an analytical client who wants to know all this stuff, you can click this little button up here that says create report, put all this into a PDF, say here. Go nuts. Okay? Refined value, we kind of talked about the refined value. Here's where you can go in. Right, it's saying public facts, listing facts. If this were not on the market, it would have the listing facts worse. But here's where we can put in and say your changes. So if we want to change the number of from 4 bedrooms to say it's 5 bedrooms because the county record is wrong and the basement is finished, I can update this to 5. Or, let's see, county records say 1 full bath. Listing says 3, but it's 2. How did they get 3? So we can click here and go update facts. And now it's telling us that based upon its calculation, should be about $66,000. And obviously this is you don't share this directly. You can put this in a report, but this allows you to go through and not only just change information up there, but now you can go in down here and you can say, it needs a bathroom remodel. Right, and you can say it's gonna cost, let's say it's a cheap bathroom, it's gonna cost $7,500. And so it's automatically gonna start taking the $7,500 away from the refined value. Right, we've got our say plus 66 minus our 7,500. So you can play with all of this.
Wondered what that was for. I thought maybe it was to tell you if you get your money back, but I see what it really does is it adjusts it out against like the market value and like, okay, well, this would be an objection from a buyer, so they're.
Right. Think about it in terms of not an appraiser tool, but it's the closest thing that, that we have to an appraiser's tool.
So would it be fair, like, let's say most of your pumps have a 3-car garage, or AC and yours doesn't, you would adjust that to a garage bay or AC?
Absolutely.
Okay. That's nice. And then just so you guys know, one of the things that I often teach, but I don't think we've covered it this year, is when you've got a known objection, like I've got one coming up with no AC, I get a quote and I leave it on the counter for when they're showing. Because if they don't have a good agent that's experienced, that agent won't have a clue, and the buyer makes it into a big deal, and it's a $5,000 expense.
What's the example of the one you have coming up?
Air conditioning, yeah, air conditioning.
I've done the same thing with radon mitigation. Especially if they put known radon issue in the seller's property disclosure, then you might as well get ahead of it.
Yeah.
Okay? But I encourage you, especially as you get ready for seller's consultations. So let's do this. Let's take a look at my house. Obviously, my house is not on the market.
Oh,
And wah status degree, that tree is gone.
and you've owned it forever. You see that?
In June, the big tornado that went through Highland Ranch.
That.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they have a shower ready. Even though we haven't taken it out, she just regularly went instead of.
So that was a 65-foot tree that was on top of my house.
Oh, it went that way.
It went, yeah, on top of the house. Right? So let's take a look at here what I know. Again, same thing we talked about. Right, so that, remember, we saw listing facts in the middle column, we have that now here, it's not on the market. Property type. And all this information here. I've got a finished basement, there's a finished bedroom down in the basement with an egress window, so yay, single bedroom, right? Has closet. I can add that here. I can make any of the changes to this that aren't correct, right? I don't know why the county still thinks I have wood shake shingles. I haven't had wood shake shingles for 20 years.
Same reason why I think that I have a basement.
Right? It thinks I have an unfinished basement. So obviously I know that I have a finished basement. But I can go through and I can change up all this information for all this RDM. Obviously, this is where, when you're getting ready for your seller, consultation, this is for you to know everything that there is to know about this house.
You can just track that, it says 5/9/24, go down there to the, right there, it says refined values and then page down. Why does it show that just as 5/9, just calculate it?
Because I did,
Okay.
yeah, because I did it.
What are you talking about?
Just what, like it's showing those events there.
Oh, yeah, you,
It's what's.
Yeah.
I see.
So, so then here's the cool thing, right? So if you have somebody that you're keeping track of and they want this on a regular basis, or, you know, this person that's taking forever to fix up their house, you'll have this track, and you can say, well, I told you back 6 months ago, it was worth X, and now it's, right? Here's my refinance back in 2021, my refinance in 2013. When I actually purchased the thing back in 2003, I applied to have fun.
You have zero equity, that's totally,
What's that?
you don't have any equity.
Oh.
Joking. I was trying to put the numbers work, I think, man, it's awesome, like, double your money back from key,
That's low.
that's awesome.
House down the street sold for almost 900.
The problem is, it would cost you a crazy amount to buy a replacement, that's the problem, right?
What's that?
I said the problem is it costs you a crazy amount to buy a replacement, so,
And I had a 2.99% interest rate.
yeah.
So if you just said that's low,
Yes.
so why do you like this?
Why do I like this tool? Because I can go in and I can, do my refined value.
Now, keep in mind, all these tools, guys, they don't replace you doing a honed-in comp, right? But think about, we've got pre-listing and we've got post-house visit, right? So when we're getting ready for our listing appointments, we're trying to get a feel for where's this house fall? We haven't seen it yet, right? So I think I've shared this recently, that I use a couple of tools. I no longer go into the MLS until after I've seen the house. But I use PropStream, I use Realtor.com, I use Zillow to get a feel, because that's what they're seeing, right?
Yeah.
Gives me a range, because I kind of look at the averages and narrow it down. I could use this tool as well. Then I'm gonna go in after I see the property. And now that I have finishes, yard in good shape, the dogs trash it, you know, all those things that factor in, then you can hone in on your comps. And I'm sure if you honed in here on, whether you were using the MLS or you were using the RPR side of the MLS, you basically would be honing in what you thought were the best fits from a comp perspective, right? And then this is gonna show up differently when you're in a CMA environment, because you've got those other houses to compare. It's getting, just like you use the one-line CMA report in the MLS, it's gonna give you some differences in price per square foot that you're then gonna apply to your property, right? So keep in mind, this is definitely gonna give you like an exact.
Yes,
When you're doing this refined value, when you're adding stuff like a finished basement.
Yep.
If they don't pull permits, you put that in it, like, do you count those rooms and that square footage?
that's a question I would ask the managing broker.
Yes, now, first off, make sure you check the permits.
Yeah.
Okay. Most of the time, the permits are there, it's just not reflecting and counting
Okay.
fees. I see that probably 80% of the time, but when it is in fact not permitted, I'm gonna tell you, it depends, and I'll give you 2 examples. When they've done it well, and you feel like if they were to go through the effort, or the buyer were to go through the effort to call county and go through the permit process, that they would be fine, then you want to count it in square footage, because a lot of buyers won't care, and they're willing to go through the pain, or they'll make it a condition of their inspection and solution, right? Now, it's different, and Andrew has one of these, when it's not done well.
Yeah.
So we have an old agent who used to be here, who's moved out of state with the military, and Andrew and Ray are listing her house after renters trashed it. The problem is, you've been to this house, this is, I can't think of the name, but anyways. They had the basement finished during COVID, and the contractor did a shitty job. Shitty. And then on top of it, You can't find it, and municipal permits, and she wasn't an agent back then, and they didn't realize, they thought he was doing everything right. She had no idea, so later on, when she's going for her studies and stuff, they got screwed. So in that case, Andrew and I talked about how do you value that basement, because it's not permitted and it's kind of ready. And we came to the conclusion that you kind of had to downgrade.
Yep.
You couldn't really give it full value like you would the main floor. Was it a complete like loss in terms of it might as well be unfinished? Not completely, but we both were, this is gonna be interesting, we don't know how this is gonna go, because, you know, it's in Fountain, it's not in a great, it's an okay neighborhood, but it's, you know, been beat up by around, they have no money to fix it, it's just a mess. So, it depends. Does that help?
Yeah.
Maybe?
So if it's half-assed.
If it's half-assed, you kind of gotta settle somewhere in the middle, but keep in mind, when a basement's unfinished, for the most part, that square footage is about half, dollars per square foot. So if your upper level, it's not exact, but, what I tend to do is look at a neighborhood and look at basements unfinished and basements finished, but it typically tends to be, if it's selling for 200 a square foot in general, if it were say 70% or more finished, then typically when it's unfinished, it's gonna be about $100 a square foot for that unfinished level, roughly. Kind of what my experience has shown.
One thing I will warn you about in this RDM, so I filed a ticket with them, supposed to be putting it in a future upgrade. You notice here where it says bedrooms, the county record says 4, but I have 6 bedrooms in my house, I put in 6. Notice it automatically put an evaluation change of a -$101,000, which, I don't know, but that's stupid, right? Fractions. Should be adding value. Well, their immediate response was, what happens is when you add bedrooms, it makes the rest of the rooms smaller, and then the rest of the rooms are less valuable.
Because you have to take the room out of those other rooms to build the other.
And that's their logic, and I'm like, that's stupid. So it's supposed to be in a future release, it's supposed to be changed. So instead of, I can put in here and I can say I have a 6-bedroom, but then here in that refined value, now I'm gonna say I have a, I can just say I have other. Why did you not select other? So I can say finished basement. And it would, you know, it adds, instead of a negative, it's adding $150,000. So I essentially counteract that and I'm adding the improvement,
You're just tricking it.
I'm tricking it. Right. But I leave that this way so you guys can see that.
I guess this would be helpful also if the client's looking to do a remodel or put an addition on, so you can see kind of.
Yep.
Yeah, that's gonna add value to their house or.
I don't think I, before today, realized there was a difference between where you can add a possible improvement to see if it's worth value compared to taking away, refining value by taking away something.
Yep.
Say like AC that's not there or a garage, so
Yep.
that's really good to know too.
Yeah, I had a client who just bought in Castle Rock, they wanted to fix her upper. I found them a house, their rehab budget is $175,000. And I was able to go in and show, okay, here's what your house looks like right now, because it's obviously on the market, run the comps for that. Then go in here and modify this so that it looks like what the facts would be after they do the remodel. Rerun the CMA and show them before and after.
Yeah,
That's nice.
and a new value,
I'm sorry,
showing that new value.
showing them the new values.
I usually do it through just another set of comps, but that is a nice way to do it.
So, all right, let's keep going then. We can run a CMA in here. Okay, so this one kind of walks you through the CMA, how you're gonna put it together. All right, we're gonna do 2 types, comparative analysis, sales comparison analysis. All right, it walks you through, so when we do a CMA, first of all, it wants us to confirm the home facts, of course. So if you haven't done the RPM, we're already able to do things like So now here's my 6 bedrooms. Right, and I can confirm the facts and close. Then we can go in here, we can start to look for comps. Now, I'm not necessarily crazy about how identifies which comps, so obviously this is your professional opinion coming into this, right? Broker price opinion, BPO. So you can go through and you can do searches. We can search all single family homes within the last 3 months, beds, baths, right? So I want to search 5, say 5 to 7 baths, we can do a search to make this quick. Right, now it's giving us my comps. And I can say, add this to the comps list, add this to the comps list. Right, and then it automatically has you choose your comps and add them. Giving you a new range. Right, so now we know that this range telling us what our average square price per square foot is there. Right, the evaluation. And when we do, we'll see here in a second, when we do our report. It does give you the value, it gives you the range, and allows you to choose what you want it to show up as within that range. Okay, so we've done that, we've adjusted the comps. This is giving this range based upon me kind of doing a half a job on that thing. But now if you go through, we can tell create a seller's report. So now your seller's report, this is, you have 8 different types of reports that you can choose to print out on this property or print for any neighborhood. Or if you pull it out because you trip over your own feet.
That's me.
Go. There it is. No.
What happened?
Will you?
What'd you do?
It was working for a second. Let's watch this back.
Sorry.
Usually it'll just automatically see it, or like on mine, I just do a screen share. You're not Apple, so. Yeah, usually it's.
Please. There we go.
Have anything that you need to share along your Zoom? I know mine, I have these little 3 buttons that says, you know. Choose a coffee guy.
Let's go.
Yeah.
All right, while we screw with this, if you're looking at your RPR. So you can take a look at that seller's report. And the seller's report will allow you to. They're starting to come around. Hey, I want to say this.
Where's the wall? But we can pull all this.
Can I ask you something?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
I'm playing around with this.
Yep.
With my own property,
Yep.
and after choosing the comps, it says like a very low range for like these small comps, but the comps are way higher than what they're having.
So this is where you will have the ability for when it makes modifications. Yeah.
So is that like at the next step?
Yep.
Stay. Don't pull the cord, Carrie.
I'll walk around it. Promise I'll walk around. Is there a way we can get rid of this?
You were asking a lot.
I know. So if we take a look at our seller's report, we can customize what goes into our seller's report.
So where is it? I'm trying to think of that the other way.
We'll work on it, that's fine. So these report elements here. These are the pages that we can put into that property report. So you can make it as. Some cool things that RPR has that you won't find in other platforms. This AARP livability index. Supposedly it's accurate, I don't know. I just became a member of AARP, so I should know. Maybe, I don't know. Property values, you can tell it which of these pages you do or don't want to be in your report. Right, so this is custom to you. If you think you don't want historical photos, property reports, all you do is uncheck those. You see how many, this can be a 1,000,000-page report or it can be a 2-page report. Completely up to you. Yeah.
Do you think, besides your own discerning mind, if your clients are using those tabs in there, that it actually hurt? what you're trying to
Yes.
do?
Absolutely.
If you overwhelm them with information, yeah. So, I mean, you can find that even with the CMA within PPAR. There's a lot of their pages I don't like to use. Yeah, and so first time or two you use it, before you give it to a client, check it out and see what you're like, oh yeah, that's useful, that's not, go in and click it and get rid of it. But yeah, you can give them way too much sometimes.
And it's all dependent on the document. For analysis of
Yeah.
data, so.
Yeah.
Well,
The data is helpful for you to be able to do your analysis. You'll see here in a second, I'll show you, you can actually email them the report directly out of RPR. Don't recommend it, right? Because just for the reason you're just saying here a second ago, you want to take a look at this report and you want to make sure it looks accurate, right? Because if you send it and it's out there and it's in their email box, and you can't say, well, but, right? So,
It's true that it lands in their eye.
right.
Especially if you don't want the engineer and wants to go through all
Oh,
100
wow.
pages of it, then you
That's your
for
heart.
our listening presentations turn into 4 hours. Yes.
Always.
Right?
I have one of those clients on the sales side that every single offer we get, we go through every paragraph.
Yes. So, once we decide what pages we want in there, we put this run report button here at the bottom. It's running it. It doesn't do it automatically, all the time, but I don't think I've ever had a report take longer than like 5 seconds. So here's my reports. Here's my seller's report that I just ran. It says 2 minutes remaining, but let's take a look at one that I already ran, my reports.
So weird. But I just got something things on my. No. Very weird. Stunning.
But he does, it allows you
Yeah,
Okay,
but why are we?
There so here's my seller's report that it put together, right? Automatically pulled in the Google Street View picture. Brand new for me, remember we, in our profile at the beginning, we set all this up. Automatically goes in there. And then these are all the pages. Now, I did put in some feedback for an update. I would like to be able to do more than just take out individual pages. Those check boxes, all they do is take out pages. That's right, this report is
many pages.
67 pages. I don't know about you, but I ain't sending that to anybody.
Hey, did you get a chance to look over that report I was thinking?
Right,
Yeah, give us a couple weeks.
right, but it's got all the information, it's got valuations that you went through. Remember how we stepped through that, we were able to modify the value of it, so it shows the RVM, the real value. On this summary page, this is where that your refined value, remember how we were changing everything up? This is your AVM, this is where it would show your refined value. Your comp analysis, here's the range from your comps.
Shouldn't it be a little closer if you refined it to get to the current estimate?
I didn't find it, but yes, you're right.
I'm like, this is not gonna.
No, I didn't say it.
We should just list it for 100,000.
Yeah. Right, but that's where you have the option to change the RVM,
Okay.
and then the RVM is what shows up here. So then, of course, we have home facts, interior details. This is that AARP livability index, if it matters.
Guys, and this is where, you know, I tell you, when we look at other tools, to make sure that you check it, right? Especially the first few times you use any new tool, I don't care which one it is write comps like you always do. And then I do the same thing when I'm looking at prop stream, or one of those is that, or when I evaluated a bunch of those tools last fall, is then you get a feel, because some of these tools are better for across the board. Some do well with more your, I hate to say it, but your moderate price subdivision house. Others, you know, really kind of miss the mark when it comes to maybe luxury or ranch property, so you gotta kind of do some gut check before you get too reliant on the tool, because you may think, oh, it really looks full, but you haven't fact checked it against, say, a normal set of comps to see how close it is. Right. And once you have confidence in it, and use it all day long, right, to save yourself some time, but.
So here's some of the cool stuff it has: market reports, sellers reports. I don't pull the whole thing, so, you know, I would,
So this we were showing is the whole kit and caboodle.
this is the whole kit,
Because I'm going through and checking a lot, I'm trying to get it down under like 12 pages.
when I do this, when I do a seller's report, I'm 2 or 3 pages.
Yeah.
What do you think, what are the main things you want to include?
I always include comps,
Right.
the property history, and a basic, the neighborhood report. And that's all I'm including. You know, I'll generate it, and, you know, you'll have some of those engineers who'll say, ooh, tell me more, and you'll be like, here, put yourself to sleep. You really want to. But again, use your best judgment. Age range of comps sold, number of bedrooms and homes sold, distress listings. If you give all of this information to your clients, you're gonna spend a lot of time explaining jargon. What's a distressed home?
Not yours.
Not-
Maybe yours.
Hopefully not yours. Right, but it's already showing you here, we have subject property, this is the seller's report. I do include this, because I've chosen the comps, I want them to see all the information about the comps, how it shows up. Here, this one is closed, right, this is my main comp, $925,000 sold for $925,000. Now, unfortunately, I'm not, as good about upkeep on my own home. I flip houses and my wife hates it because I fix it with everybody else's house and not me. Right, but you're seeing here automatically, you know, we have 296 square foot. All the information is coming out of the listings. Right, here's our comps. It all puts all this together, it's prefab. Okay,
It's a pretty report too. I
it
think the other ones, I think, you're gonna give me something beautiful, this is like a more beautiful version of all of them.
Yep. So let's take a look at some of the other reports that you have available. I won't go through all of them. You can play with them as you get an opportunity to.
So you're taking all those market activity reports out?
Yep. Right, so your other reports that you can run, you got that seller report we just talked about. A property flyer, so if you want to create a property flyer out of the RPR data, you can use it for, you know, door knocking, you can use that for, open houses. If you wanna throw something together for an open house, you can do that, property require for that. Here's the mini property report. You can start with a mini property report and go get down a few pages quicker. I don't like the summary of what they put in the mini property report, so I run the whole thing and then take out what I want. We'll talk about market activity reports, neighborhoods, and schools here in a second. Okay, so that's the comps. Now, here's where I think the real value for RPR starts to come in. I'm gonna go back and using it as a research tool, and this is especially true for you, let's talk about geographic farming. So, Carrie, give me when your neighborhood that you farm.
Settlers Ranch.
Settlers Point, Settlers Way Elementary.
There it is, first one under Addison.
Oh, that's split.
Sorry.
Settlers Ranch, Argent Settlers Ranch is the.
And location.
What else does it go by? Might go by Whistler. There's like two sides of the neighborhood.
Let's do this. This is my neighborhood. And,
It's not Kevin Virginia either.
well, I didn't kind of hurt.
Oh.
Then I have my reading glasses on. So here's Northridge in Highlands Ranch, Colorado, so that's my neighborhood. Okay. Northridge so let's go ahead and. Let's just say Virginia. And let's say more, minimum 3 beds. Let's see what comes up there. Actually, let's do public records. We're gonna call only single family. Do you see how we're refining it down? It does have its more filter stuff. This is where it gets really cool and you can start to get really, really granular with what you got going on. Sale price, beds, baths, living area, all the typical stuff that you like to look at. Distress. So if you want to know what has NOVs, right, foreclosures, bank loans, you can say, give me all the distress from date range. Change it by lot use. Here's one of the most powerful things that I think it has. It will search for properties that are on their market. It will search through property descriptions. So if you want to do keyword searches, right? So say, and these are the ones that just pre-populates. I want something on a cul-de-sac. It's got to have a back deck. It's got to have granite countertops. There we go. Update search. No properties were found. Oh, because I put too much in. Okay, this is looking for a specific property. Okay, so now let's go and take a look at, we're gonna do a property research, we're gonna do a neighborhood search. So we're gonna search for a neighborhood. All right, well, there we go.
Or just do Woodmore. Everybody around here knows Woodmore. Woodmor. There you go.
Woodmore neighborhood. Here we go. So, the values. So we're gonna search here. Now we automatically know the neighborhood summary for Woodmore. Days on market, month of inventory. Right now it's showing us condo and townhouse. So let's change it just to single family, quite a lot of choice. Right, Now we're selling us 710,000. Neat charts and graphs you can pull. You want to put these into things like your social posts, charts, top 5 occupations, you really want to know, nearby neighborhoods. Here's the coolest thing that I think that they've added recently. If you want to take and you're farming your neighborhood and you have, you're doing, say, Facebook ads, we're gonna create scripts. Market trend script writer. This is an AI generated script. So we tell it, I want it to be conversational, geared toward just sellers. And I am gonna do a social campaign. It goes through, it uses the data that you had on this market report. Script. Right, so you can take this, it has all the cool emojis and all that kind of stuff in there too.
Where did you get that from?
Yeah, we're back.
Can you go back a couple actually?
Like, when I did was more than 12 max, and then.
Yeah, I can't just move it, search.
Okay, under research,
Name
Okay.
right, so here we're seeing, so that's where I went, and I typed in Woodmore. Type in your neighborhood, type in a zip code, type in whatever you want in there. It's pretty good about recognizing neighborhoods. Is that settlers range that in your neighborhood or?
It's one of the ones I farm and because I can't get into my computer, I can't check like, is it apostrophe S or does it have a different name?
It doesn't pull up my neighborhood either.
Oh, and you pretty creative, right?
Then I click create script. So does anybody do Instagram?
Not well.
Okay, you ever wonder what to say?
Yes.
Okay, ready? I want a conversational script for potential sellers. Give me my video script. This is an Instagram long reel script. Oh, there it is. Right?
Yes, you printed a beautiful house. That's so funny.
Right? Okay, it's all there.
So is that included feed and create a video, or is that an email?
This is just where you can, so what you do with this is I would take this and go into, I use a tool called Dub for recording those videos, and it has a teleprompter in it. So I copy this, I put it in my teleprompter, so when I go to record on my phone, I hold my phone out here, I hit record, my teleprompter shows up and it shows me this information, and all I have to do is say, hi, Mike Watson, your local realtor here in the Woodmore neighborhoods. Yeah, I wanted to give you a market update for April 2024. Pause.
Good.
How do
Now-
you even?
If you're doing Instagram, if you're just recording the Instagram, you don't cut the graphic, right, and then and stuff. If you want to get fancy, you can go and put in B-roll and all that kind of cool stuff. Yeah, it'll give you that too, stuff, right? But it's all written for you. Let's say instead we want to analyze metrics. This is the kind of stuff you can you can put into postcards, yellow letter mailings. If you're doing an update, you have your YouTube channel, you can go in, you can use this for your YouTube channel. It does pretty good. Obviously it's AI. So gut check. Does it sound like you? Speaking of the days on market, we keep homes, so the days on market is 23. Right? I think that's one of the coolest things that they've added recently. Okay. Housing facts. All that kind of stuff. All right, so let's go back up here, we're doing research. Now, we're gonna take a look at the map search. So we already told it, let's say you want to do, 80126. So we're gonna do a search. New results. Single family, 3+ best. Let's say 4+. Okay, search. Okay. There's all my properties that meet. And notice this is public records. So these are all the houses in that zip code that meet this criteria. Okay? Here's something we can start to add. You want to add borders for census tracts, opportunity zones, zip codes, macro neighborhoods. But in my, right, different neighborhoods, school districts. It's all the same for the district. We're gonna review the searching area. You have all of these tools all on the side here. If you want to draw your own freehand, so say this is my neighborhood and I just want to search this little corner here. Right, I can search this area. Now I'm just getting this area. Say I want to draw a polygon. I'm just clicking the corners where I want it to be. Here we go. Search this area. Here we go. Okay. Now I can click down into any one of these that I want to take a look at. For you folks who are geographic farming, here's the magic sauce.
Before you do that, I also want to remind you guys, you should actually be using your map a lot like this. And I'll give you an example, Woodmore. If you were to just type in Woodmore, in the original comps for a potential appointment, it will leave out 60% of the neighborhood. Because there's multiple places in there that have other names, like Top of the Moor, Woodlands at Woodmore, things like that. Same thing happens over Wolf Ranch. So you want to know the neighborhood, and you want to use your mapping tool, so that you don't have to worry about catching all those Meridian Ranch is the same thing. A lot of our neighborhoods, like Horse, they've got all these little enclaves and different legal descriptions, and so therefore it's real cost. So make sure that you use your map a lot as opposed to your anything.
We have a senior living community up in Aurora. Heather Gardens, and there are 5 different subdivisions of Heather Gardens. And if, for the people who don't list in Heather Gardens on a regular basis, they don't know how to list it in the MLS, have to use that. Okay? So here's how you're gonna grow your database by how many results that come up with for today. 245 properties. Mailing business. See the button right here? Okay. Mailing labels. Once you get in here, I don't know why anybody would want to print mailing labels directly out of here. Whatever, right? But you see here, now I can change this layout to CSV. I want the address type, owner name. If one of your strategies is absentee owners, tell it instead of giving you the address, tell it to give you the owner name and the mailing address, the tax billing address, right, as opposed to the property address. So if you're targeting renters, you want the property address, right? If you want absentee owners, tell it you want the tax or billing address. Okay, now, you can download 2,000 records a month out of RPR. They limit it so you don't just download the entire, metropolitan area. Right? So I'm gonna say export. Mailing labels. Come on. There we go. Mailing labels.
Are you doing that, you specifically, Mike, are you doing this because you are managing them, or are you dumping those on above?
So here's what I'm doing. I'm taking this, I'm taking all of these and I'm dumping into phone.
Really?
Okay.
That's 500.
What's that?
That's 500 in your database.
There you go. Right, so I mean, this is sales, the numbers game.
Now, these aren't scripts, or these aren't, skip trace, right? So you don't have emails and text, or email and phone?
Not yet.
Okay. But you're
So,
gonna-
I'm gonna tell you a couple of things here. So I know you guys, most everybody, is everybody using phone?
No,
Okay,
you,
okay,
out of a
So-
quarter of the agents,
what's that?
about a quarter of our agents use an outside CRM.
So I'm taking, everything that I did here, those addresses, and I'm dumping them into phone. Okay? Then at that point in time, I can do, track everything that's coming out of there. If you want to get, here's a tool called Smart Alto that integrates with Bub. It is an extra charge, but it does the skip tracing for you. So you got the address at RPR. If you want to start mailing, you know, you can do every door direct if you want to do that. You can do, I use a service called thanks.io. In thanks.io, I can take and I can create mailing lists, in thanks.io. And then I'm mailing to all of those folks. Thanks.io is kind of cool because you don't have to buy bundles. You can do it per piece. You can do one piece at a time.
You can automate it, yeah, I got it from him. You can automate it so that it'll do onesies, twosies as they come in, if you wanna go that, which is why I got it from Mike. And a lot of this stuff, guys, we're rebuilding the hub and separating stuff out, so it's easier to find things, and I'm taking a lot of these resources from some of our lessons and plopping them in there too, because that way it's easier for you guys to find
Is that-
stuff.
Alto, is that some monthly reoccurring, or is that just all?
It is a monthly recurring. And it is,
You're paying for it, you know, left with ballpark, so $39.
39 months, and it gives you 100 properties to skip trace. Yeah. But I didn't tell you this, they have a free 7-day trial. So go into RPR, download the farms or anything you might think you want to be farming in the future. They give you the $81,000 property flavor for your 7-day trial. Sign up for your 7-day trial. Do all your skip tracing, cancel your free trial. And then at that point in time, because it integrates with Bub,
They can't take that.
it's all in Bub. At that point in time, you've got all that put together. Let me show you another cool trick, another cool tool that integrates with, you can integrate with Bub. Quick email verification. So it's gonna go to skip tracing. You know how accurate skip tracing is, right?
That was the question, like,
Yeah, it depends on the source.
Right.
I found my experience with skip tracing just in general has been, it's pretty much being landlines. Who hasn't?
Yep.
Let's go over to 71.
A lot of them don't, but
Well, I tell you, and then people who do have landlines, people that I haven't had a landline. People who do have them, I never answer it because it's always.
Yep.
So, you know, you beat your head on the wall, so it's like, yeah, you're fired, because you get these phone numbers, and then it's like.
Smart Alto scrubs against DNC and the litigationists. Right, so you're not gonna call them DNCs. My favorite thing to do like recently with robocallers. Hey, this number's on the DNC. Click. And if they don't hang up right away, hey, this number's on the DNC. If you call me back, I will report you. Because it's what, $1,500? $1,500 fine per call per instance. So if they call you 5 times and you complain, the company that calls you gets $1,500 fine by it. So they'll hang it river. So now we're doing skip tracing. This one is free. You can do 3,000, check 3,000 emails a month for free through email verification service. And if you use Zapier, you can do an integration with Fub, where you put a tag on your record in Fub, it runs it through your email verification service and comes back and tells you whether it's a fake email or not.
So you can eliminate it.
So in my geographic farm, in a matter of 5 minutes, I picked out a new farm. Right, Jay, so here you go, dude. I picked out a farm. I've done my map search. I've got my 200 and some odd properties, my 200 properties. I'm doing an import into follow-up boss. I'm skip tracing so that I now have name, address, phone number, email address. I verified they do not call us or not. I verified that they have a good email address. And at that point in time, I'm emailing them, I'm calling them, I'm door knocking if I want to door knock. Right, and it's all here. Right, with follow-up boss, if you put somebody in there, it's automatically going to go out and look for their social profile. Right, so now I know I've got my social profile already outside the scope of RPR. But I mean, this is how it all plays together, right? So now I've got their social profile information. I started emailing this guy who came in, and make sure once you put him in there, put him in the file, it is gonna tag it as being an import. But then go in and search your imports and tag them as your geographic.
So just name it the neighborhood, like name it or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, so then you can go in and when you're, right? Your smart list, we went through this before, but, create a smart list for your geographic farm. So that if you have to call people in your geographic farm in 30 days, here's your list, go through your list. So now we've taken the idea of a area that you want to farm, gotten you the information. You know everything about the neighborhood because you know how often it's turning over, you know days on market, you know months of inventory. You're able to use RPR to do Instagram posts. It's creating the scripts for you. You're putting it in here. Now you're able to integrate with something else and do mailings. Right, let's get more granular with our filters. Say we want to target a price range, we can do that. Give me just the NED, the notice of exposures. Right? Here's a cool one, if you're gonna do high equity, if one of your strategies is high equity homeowners. Here you go, time owned. Okay. Owner occupancy type, you want to target absentee owners. I've now got a neighborhood, I can go in and I can find all absentee owners that have owned for, say, 5 to 10 years. And I can create a campaign to go out there and say, hey, I see you've owned your house for 7 years. Did you know that you've got, X number of dollars in appreciation in those 10 years, the average is, here's all this information, and go out, be that knowledge broker for that absentee owner and say, hey, have you heard about all the BS that the state of Colorado is passing against landlords? I'd like to know, here's how much equity you have, would you consider selling?
Mike, do you still have the email verifier? Want to make a note of it?
Sure.
Is that
Oh,
possible?
Emailnotification.com. I wrote it down so.
Email,
Quick email notification.
Verification,
Oh.
quick
I
email,
can't read my own writing.
there you go. Quick email verifications.com. Yep. Right, so let's say I want to know all absentee owners in that area. I'm gonna update and search. right? I've only got a small handful of them,
That's a good.
It's just over.
but how much more targeted is my marketing now?
Yeah.
Right? I can create a specific campaign for that neighborhood. Let's say I'm working with a buyer and we know we want to be in, let's say I'm gonna go back to the research, I'm gonna do a school search. So I want Northridge Elementary. I spell it right. PHRIDG. School district. Let's do this. This may be good. Douglas County. To show you can do this anywhere. Douglas, Wyoming. Give it all the schools. Right, so now I have Douglas High School, Douglas Intermediate, middle school. Let's say we happen to be in Douglas High School for some reason. Here's the information about the school. Nearby listings in your school district. Teacher information.
That's pretty cool. That's probably pulling from greatschools.org.
It is pulling from niche.com. Niche.com.
In this quick video.
That's good.
Sorry, welcome to the makeup break. No, I was training.
So Highland Ranch would say I want to specifically search Northridge Elementary. Right, there's Northridge Elementary School, Douglas County School District. I can create one of these school reports. If I wanted to. I'll just use a sample of it. Right, so now we know all the information about that. Map for the school district. Information about the school itself, grades, reviews, nearby schools. If you're a day geek like me, this is like heaven. Properties for sale within 5 miles of the school. Right, so all of this is here for you to be able to know what's going on. Somebody says, I want a house in X school district. There you go. Okay. Schools nearby, each schools. Okay, let's go back and let's do another map search. And oh, let's go. We're gonna do a map search. We're gonna draw a polygon. I have no idea if this is a good neighborhood to search or not. I'm just choosing a random neighborhood.
Carrie, do you assume when you do that, feature will take off all the businesses, like that? Say it earlier.
Home businesses. I don't know.
You said there's something that will throw off. We encourage to use the map feature.
Yeah, because a lot of the neighborhoods have different names to different sections of the neighborhood. So like Woodmore, I'm technically in Woodmore, but I'm actually on top of Moore. And Woodmore's nowhere near me. So if you didn't know that, you didn't think about the whole northern section of Woodmore and the province, those are all large lots. So it'll change your value drastically. But you've got multiple, like you've got the Woodlands of Woodmore, and you've got all these little neighborhoods. You don't realize, Wolf Branch is famous for flying horse. So that's where it's better to, when you're not sure, is to make sure you use the, map. Because it's, it can really mess up your. Now, because I know Woodmore, the closer you get to the main roads, the smaller the neighborhoods get. one way I get around that is I'll do a map search and then I'll do a minimum lot size. And I'll do like a third of an acre or larger, because I want all those little quarter acre properties that are close to 105 or county. I want to get rid of all those, because the more you go from south to north of the neighborhood, those different phases of development, the lots get dry. I'm on 1.14 acres. That's a lot different than a 0.25 acre, right? But they're both wood there.
So, guys, real quick, what did Carrie just tell us? What would Coach Andy have told you about that? She has just shown one of her UVPs because she knows that Woodmore neighborhood, and she knows it better than anybody else. Right? This will help you support that information. My neighborhood, there's a line, there's a street, the main street. Everything north of that is generally $30,000 to $40,000 less than everything less than south of that, because of the builder, the age, and the quality of the home. Yeah. Okay, so I just threw this neighborhood that's right over here, right? I know nothing about that neighborhood. Let's search for points of interest. Show me. Let's say. Oh, where's the nearest date? Is there a date here in this neighborhood? I now have money in my map. There's a date here over here. Right? You now know more about this neighborhood than most of the people. So points of interest, you can do golf courses, libraries, parks, grocery stores, post offices, banks. Had an instance where I had a client who was moving from Denver to Phoenix. And they had a question about a property down in Phoenix because they wanted to make sure it was within a certain, within walking distance of a King Soopers, because that's where their son lives, and transit stores. Very specific. I pulled it up. I pulled up the neighborhood they were looking in. I hit the grocery stores, and mapped all the grocery stores, and then showed 3 King Soopers within walking distance of the property they were looking at. Okay. Points of interest, it will also show, let's zoom back in and we can tell us, let's show us all the schools. Public, private, charter, high, elementary, middle. So show me all the high schools in my map search. Go away. Right. You can tell it, it's giving me all of those. Data layers. Flood zones. If property one of those is in a flood zone, that information comes from FEMA, I believe. Property values, median sold price. Pending listings. Oops.
Are you, Mike, what was the point when I'm on, finding that matched up where you're at?
Yep.
But, you said we're, the 10-year, I guess, be a column they were there in the house, 5 and 10 years, what was that?
That was in more filters.
More filters, okay,
Yep.
got it.
And down here, down toward the bottom, that one filters in give me, so, it has to have horse property, 3-car garage, right? Make sure you give me just property with 3-car garage. No property. But use your map search, be that knowledge broker that can show where all the banks are, where the libraries are, post office. Right, all these different points of interest, these are new features they're just adding right now. Some of these points of interest they just added about a month ago.
Did they just redo the entire site? I think it recently.
Not a holistic change, but they've added quite a bit.
Seemed like user interface was different. I went to my CMAs.
All right. So the search tool is probably the most powerful thing you're going to find out of here. Now, you can do prospecting for residential clients. Buyers. These are, tutorials that will step you through these things. Right, so if I go back to my main screen, the guided tours, you can see something that you want to go through the guided tour. So I want to do this.
What did you?
I went back to the main screen,
Oh, okay.
see these guided tours here. It will take you through and it'll show you how to create reports, create CMA.
That's, I need to. Sorry.
Market trends. But this research tool is where you're gonna get the most bang for the buck out of RPR. What other strategies are you guys looking at right now? So we talked about geographic farming, we talked about expireds, we talked about notice of defaults, absentee owners. What else are you guys doing?
Can you show us that tab here where you went to the marketing and then? Yeah.
This is a guided tour.
Can you show us what that looks like? Okay, it takes you through the site. Gotcha, okay.
Next, but map search. Right? Walk sure you have residential tags. So let's put in a data 192. Or zip code. Right, there we go. Now it's giving me all of data 122. Oops. Right, I can make different changes. Right. So let's take a scenario where we have somebody who wants to buy in a specific school zone. And they want a house, but nothing's on the market. So we can now start to take a look at prospecting for properties in that neighborhood. Most people move how often?
It's like 10 years now.
It's gone up 10 to 12. It's 10 to 12 years right now. That's true.
I never really got.
So let's say within 10 to 15 years, we're gonna update the search. We know they want to live in 80122, single family home, any price range, 3 bed, 3 baths. These are the people now that I'm marketing to. And saying, hey, I have a family that's looking to buy in your area. What's the crazy number that you would be willing to sell your property at?
We put after that to get the address of the
Mailing address. CSV. I won't do it again. Right, now I know I can take this and I can put all this information into the, like I said, I use thanks.io. I can create a mail campaign. Right, so I can, so I had, here I'm marketing to landlords. So I've got a list of landlords in my target area. I pulled that out of RPR. And now I have 193 addresses that I'm sending to. Right? Travis told me he's looking at downsizers. Make some assumptions about a downsizer in a market. What kind of characteristics do the downsizers have?
Empty nesters, like,
Like what kind of data is on this one?
For really long periods.
They've owned it for a long time.
yeah, they're in a large home typically.
Okay, so search on square footage. What else can you search on?
Acreage. Let me square footage too, right?
Square footage. So
How demographics.
Tenure.
Like
demographics,
age demographics.
age demographics.
Yeah.
Very briefly, RP, that's what they should do. There's that in there.
these are retired people.
right? I mean, this is data, guys. I mean, it's gonna give you the raw data. Where the data becomes more valuable is in your expertise and your ability to make assumptions. Right? I know I want to target, do a mailing campaign for folks who are gonna downsize. So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna find people who have owned their home for a long time, probably more than 15+ years. Likely empty nesters, right? So I'm gonna mail to them, and my mail campaign is gonna say, have you thought about downsizing? Or tell them about downsizing, or you know, you can save money by, right? This is where your creativity comes into play. But make assumptions about the people and go for it. I guarantee you, from time to time, you will be wrong. Who cares?
You said you can search by demographics?
So it does have some demographic information, right? Our problem is age bias.
Right.
So some of that stuff they can't put in there, they can't put age range. If you go to.
But your other tools can. I've said, but your other tools can.
Yes.
Yeah, like cross training, you can do 55 and up, things like that.
Yep. So I mean, like I said, with these buyers, if they want to be in the zip code, they want 3 bedrooms, 4 baths. I know these are the properties that I'm marketing to because they've been in their house for a while. Right. I have found a buyer, one piece by units.
So really, I think this is awesome first, that there's such a abundance of data points for us to pick and pull from. It sounds like it's the best tool to reverse engineer our personal marketing.
It's one of my
I think
favorite.
that's a great idea, like, all right, how can I grab all these components to fulfill this need I have? This is like one spot.
This is
Yeah.
the off market, finding an off market.
Absolutely.
Low cost, right?
No cost.
I use other tools because I have the addresses and phone numbers at my fingertips, because for me, time is money, right? I don't have time. But I think when you're starting, or when you've got a small budget and time is not your enemy like it is mine, these are great sources.
Yeah.
But I want it all in place quickly, but I gotta move on. So it just depends on where you're at in here.
Jay, pick your neighborhood. Do your search. Dump it out, use the mailing label feature.
Yeah.
Pop it into Bub. Run through Smart Alto to get your address, phone numbers and, numbers and email addresses. And then just start doing stuff on it. Take it almost. It's that easy.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you for all this information.
Good.
Yeah, right. Which was yesterday.
If you have questions, you want to run something past me, email me. Watts@homesbywatts.co. Happy to help.
He's also in band, guys.
Well, I'm in band on the,
Oh, is it just the joint one?
I'm just in the joint.
So we have a joint one so that it's easier for us to share class info with them and vice versa. So, because they use band, we use band. And then we have a shared one, because once they, like, if I wanted to share a class with them, I can share it across band and they can pull it and share it on their band. So there's some, they're the only ones who do that collaborate. But I have a meeting next week. We'll see how that goes. To see how transparent it is, see that we can with the regional folks that I did. So.
Yep. I mean, and it aggregates that data, right? So whereas at least the previous sources that I had through RPR, I would have gone to 3 other places to get just that basic information to look at, but it's in one screen.
And then can I see, so I have the approval I have, I want to be a reviews, because it's strange little. Weird, but, can I take those 3, put them in, and kind of just go in and like create a CMA?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And
And
then
you can
again,
do that in MLS
Basically.
too.
Well, this other one was in, this particular one, I think was in RE Colorado, but it didn't pull up in our MLS, and I'm not in RE Colorado, so I looked here to get the info.
Yes.
So then that way I could just use this instead.
So guys, I've used RPR with family members in other areas, you know, a lot of times they're, you know, they're in North Carolina or in Oregon or someplace like that, and they want to remind you a little bit for some advice. And so like, Owen's oldest, before when they were trying to decide whether to keep their house as a rental or sell in Carolina, I just put it here, showed them the kind of comps, and it kind of helped them, because they didn't want to waste anybody's time if they were going to decide to hold on to it, which is what they ended up doing. And they kind of just wanted to know if they did decide to, rent or sell, what they should be thinking about in terms of price, because again, they trust Owen and I compared to somebody they don't know, and so RPR, because it is national, you can actually use it, you know, you're still gonna tell them to use a local expert, but a lot of times they want a gut check against somebody they trust. So,
I use RPR to look up, renter percentage of, owner occupants in a homeowners association. Right, because I had to refute and see if it was worth going after a, exception for, FHA financing. So I used RPR. Was able to go in, pull up that specific HOA, use the map tool, pull it all up, and I saw it was, you know, under the, what is it now? Percentage of owner occupants.
most it has to be under 50%.
Yeah, it's under 50% of them. But I could see that there was like 65% owner occupancy rate, because it changes, right? And FHA doesn't keep up with it. So I was able to file for an exception. That only didn't get, unfortunately, but I had the data. It's all data, it's all at your fingertips, and again, make assumptions. And then use the data to validate your assumptions. What else, guys?
Wow.
Well, good stuff. Gotta go to the, do all, you know.
I mean, play with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, get after it, so.
All right, I'm gonna end the session.
Yep.
Whoops, no. Oh, trash, go away. Everybody's gonna go.
So recap, so for farming.
Yep.
Pulling the ledge, putting it in the cloud. And then your skid tracing